Oh, you're kidding me.
No, we are live.
Okay,
Look at
hold
that.
on.
There's a live
Hello,
button.
hello, 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 everyone. We are live, and I am Deb Mitchell. I'm the community manager for Social Media Pulse, and I'm here with Ask Evie. Yay! I'm stepping in for Christine as we wrap up this month's mission.
How is January already over?
I don't know. How did that happen?
I don't know.
Like, I'm kind of freaking out that February is coming. Like, that's tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
I've been so busy with workflows and everything. We've been polishing our own workflows and adding standard operating procedures and wikis and all of that. So I've been heads down exactly in this topic.
Well, I'm super excited because you are Miss Workflow, and I'm thrilled you're here to go over this. When the team came up with this idea, our idea was that so many social media managers are, we're in a rough economic times right now, and a lot of social media managers are going to be looking to add things that can improve their how quickly they could do things, add new services. So we were looking for workflows that you could like just plug right into your business. And so we've got some great content. So for those of you that are watching, hi everyone, say hello in the comments if you'd like. That would be great. And we are over at socialmediapulse.community, and that's where this wrap up will live for forever, for perpetuity, if you will. And so feel free to drop any comments over there. And that's where I want to take you. And Evie, you being the queen of workflows, I'd love to walk through some of the stuff that we've been doing this month and sort of point out some highlights. So let me share my screen.
There's some great posts there this month.
Okay, let's see what I'm doing. Hang on, I have to switch this. Okay, here we are. Welcome to
Look, fanciness.
I know. And I'm pretty sure that means I have to click over here to be able to scroll and have you see me scroll. Yes. Okay, I figured it out. Yay. All right. Nothing like stepping in at the last minute. All right, here we go. So for those of you that don't know, we are running our content in Social Media Pulse on weekly missions. And I mean, monthly missions. And this month's was workflows. So whenever we start a mission, there's always this post called mission control. And what we do is we end up kicking things off, and then we end up listing every single piece of content that we put out for the month. Christine was busy this month, and she's got a ton of great content that she's curated and edited and put together in here. So we're super excited about that. But what I would love to be able to do with you is sort of go over this, and let's kick it off with workflows goals, because hello everyone, in case you missed it, this was January. So many of us set goals, and so we had some pretty cool content come in. Deb Eckerling did her directed journaling workflow for goal setting. So there's Deb. We thank her for this. And she talked about direct journaling. Do you do any direct journaling?
I actually do a lot of journaling on a lot of different topics. What I love about this, specifically with bringing it in with workflows, is if you don't know where you're going, you don't know what to do. You're just gonna run around like a chicken with a head chopped off and not have any focus. So we need to be able to set goals, and I'm hoping that everybody watching is not just going to set goals for January, but rather actually turning those goals into habits for them to stick around.
Totally. And let's see, I think we've got two other pieces of goals, and then you and I could talk a little bit about like maybe what we do and what we recommend for social media managers to do. We've got this expert insights panel on goal setting with Deb and Troy and Katie. And so take some time to watch that. They gave us some really great tips on why setting goals are important and how to define them. So that's a great conversation that you might, if you missed it, you might want to hop into and see. And then let's see what the other piece. Oh, using OKRs for social media. And this came from our social media pulse office hours with Phyllis, which you guys know when Phyllis gets into something, she digs deep. And so totally goes into the social media goals and objectives and KPIs. And so that's another great discussion. I don't know about you, Evie, but I like to work sometimes with stuff going on the side when I'm working. And so these would be great for you guys to play when, you're doing something else. You just want to listen to something kind of like a video podcast kind of thing.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on what would be your maybe top 2 recommendations for someone? Okay, let me start over. My brain's going super fast and I'm trying to come up with a great question. What would be your top 2 what would be your top 2 suggestions for a social media manager who needs to set some goals, or if they haven't done it yet?
So my thing, again, as I already mentioned before, goals is a great way to start a habit. Just setting a goal is not going to do anything for you. And it's always finding that balance. You want to set goals high because, again, how do we say, if you reach for the stars and you don't reach them, at least you end up in the moon, right? Something to that extent. German language here, sometimes the phrases in English don't work quite well when I try to say them. But again, when goal setting, when focusing on something, one side I do with that is by intuition, really listening inwards for us. What feels good? Where is that point of, this might be stretching it a little bit, where we start getting uncomfortable? That's right there where you want to be. Just that little bit of comfortable. You're not going too crazy where you're like, oh my God, we never reach this. But you are also not just, oh yeah, this is easy. You want to have that stretch goal. But then also, that's a gut feeling. That's an emotion. You can only trust that about that much, because we know our own emotions are rooted in our own values and our own beliefs, as well as limiting beliefs. So make sure you go back and you look at numbers. Data and numbers don't lie. And then really just pull all of that information together. Work with your clients on where do they want to be. Is where they want to be actually doable, or are they just insane wanting to buy Instagram followers? So really just taking the time, and goal setting is not a one-day job. It's a lot of people are already starting with their goal setting for the new year in October or November, with looking at numbers, with pulling in the analytics, all the things, and then starting to plan out for 2023. And often enough, all of that planning goes into January. And a lot of my clients by end of January have it all pulled together, because we also still need to run a business, right? So it's really pulling all of that information in and taking your time to set smart goals. When, what, and how much.
Yeah, I think that's great tips. I love that. Okay, so I'm going to jump back over to us sharing the list of what we've got in Mission Control, and I'm going to jump down to since you're here and you are the queen of workflows and ClickUp. Hey, did I hear that you're working on a secret project?
It's becoming which project? So one project is locally here, where I'm actually putting on an event when ClickUp Level Up is happening. So I have an invite only in-person event here in San Diego happening when Level Up is happening on the 28th of February. As well as working on the first ever ClickUp book, which is halfway written. So we're putting polishing touches onto content that's already written based on version 3.0, where I have early insight on what's happening, and then also writing the rest of it. So it'll be a couple more months till that's published, but it's officially being announced on my session in ClickUp Level Up.
Yay! Thank you for the early.
There's a few ClickUp things happening.
Okay, I love this. Okay, I'm so excited for you and so proud of you, and I hope that you'll come back and you'll when the book comes out and like you can give us a scoop and give us a scoop on what's happening with ClickUp. I know we have an upcoming mission on tools coming. Those of you who have been requesting that, so I know that we would love to get your input and your guidance on that. But let's jump into this. As we're looking at like content, because most social media managers, one of our biggest parts of our job is dealing with content, right? And it can be very overwhelming. And so I think that we've got a great list. We've got, something on work, what you have to know as a social media manager, which you gave us, which I want to circle back on. But we've also got Phyllis, who many of you know Phyllis, as she's part of Social Media Pulse team, and she gave us her secret recipe on how to use AI for blogs, and it's an over the screen kind of. She shares with you the exact steps. So like I'm excited that we're having one of our first AI recipes that we're bringing in, and then we've also got this great email marketing workflow, and of course we've got amazing content in the Pulse Academy School, which is that you can take classes on and that kind of thing. And so we pulled out our social meeting planning worksheet from Ruth, and Christine shared how to batch content. So, I love this one, this last one. I'm going to click on that one first, then we'll jump back to yours. I feel like I'm jumping all over the place, but this is sort of why.
Because it all fits together.
I know it does, doesn't it?
we have these perfect articles and videos about the specific pieces of the workflows, and then we got the big one that brings it all together.
Yeah, exactly. And that's sort of how we came up with this idea for mission control, is because it pulls it all together. I organize it so that it makes some sense to people, I hope. Always looking for suggestions if you all have any suggestions. But I wanted to highlight this piece because this is somebody that you don't know. It's Nathaniel Harper. He works for Agora Pulse, and he's our video editor. And so when we started doing Instagram Reel, we did a Camp Space Friend, and we did a whole thing on Instagram Reels, and then we did the 12 days of TikTok as a mission. I went to him and I was like, people really want to be able to see how do you actually edit that? Yeah, you can edit it, but how? And so I went to him, and he did this cool piece on how he edits short form video. And I actually sent him an example and said, how did they do that? And so, he uses Descript, and he's got some great tips in here. So I thought that you guys should definitely take a look at this piece. You make a fair amount of short form video, don't you?
Yep. We just have changed our YouTube is still my main platform. So everything is built up on YouTube. And we just changed our content approach to having a short on Monday. The podcast gets released on Wednesday. So I do a video podcast. And then the recorded video, the training, goes out on Friday. Based with those short form content, YouTube narrows me down to a minute. Sometimes my short form is a little bit longer. So based up on that YouTube schedule, we are now also getting into this habit and into the ongoing routine of posting those on Instagram and TikTok too. Now, Instagram Reels and TikTok, I have the advantage of it doesn't have to be less than a minute. So if I got into a rampage and it's now 2.5 minutes rather than a minute, I can post that. I can't on YouTube. But yeah, it's like short form. My approach to short form content is really just one snippet of knowledge that fits with the long form content I publish on YouTube. So for me, a lot of the short form content is exposure, but also driving traffic back to my long form content.
Is what you're posting, the short that you're posting, is that related to the podcast episode that's coming?
The recorded YouTube video. So next step up, what we do is we build up on things. So right now, we do not have much short form content when it comes to the podcast. We have worked out that workflow. We have adapted. I am not doing the podcast live anymore. it is pre-recorded and then through StreamYard scheduled to go live, simply because I had too many guests that had last minute changes and everything. And I'm like, I just love the podcast batching. 2 days and I got 2 months of content done.
Yeah.
So with that, we've been playing around with this workflow. And now once we are established in this habit of this new schedule with TikTok and Instagram Reels, we're also going to move into taking that podcast and repurposing pieces of that into short form content. But that comes down to, because I'm not a social media manager, quote, I don't have a social media manager. I work with a couple of VAs that are amazing doing this. So we are building up. I want to be able to deliver a certain amount of content that we have decided on. And when we really can do that and keep up with that schedule, meaning me recording videos regularly, because let's be honest, I'm the bottleneck, then we add to that and we build up on that.
All right. I love that workflow that you just laid out. Everybody, I hope you were paying attention to that. Take notes on that. If you want to go back and re-listen to that, it's here in socialmediapulse.community. So that's available for you. Okay, I want to jump over to the piece that you did, which was the 5 must-know workflows for social media managers. Let me switch over to the screen. Here we are. There you are.
And it pretty much combines a lot of the other posts and the other videos that your contributors have been talking about. And it's just like we just talked about it. The first thing in there, how do I turn one into many? How do I repurpose stuff that I already have? Because again, we want to make the most out of what we already have. And especially working with clients, you need to get them on camera. You need to get them to record video. Now, how do you do that the best way possible to get the most pieces of content out of it?
Okay, so give us a tip of your favorite way to do that. Let's say you and I were let's say we're going to take this and we're going to repurpose this. What, let's say this was like for your podcast. Are you going to just snip out like some key points, or like what is your favorite way to do that?
So the first problem social media managers run into is even just getting their clients on camera. So what I have seen work well is either way. If you were in the same area as your clients, schedule a day, batch record with your clients. Be there with the camera, talk with them, get their mind off of that they have a camera in their face, and fine. If that's not a way that you can get them to record, we have virtual. You don't have to be on camera. So what Deb and I are doing right now is what you can do with them, but literally just put your client on full screen, hit the record button, and you are just in the background, exactly like that. You can record them, and now you have video. You can just talk with them, help them get comfortable on camera. And then I have a VA that has such an eye for detail and knows exactly where those aha moments are, where those, oh my God, that needs to be a piece of micro content, and being able to cut this down. And I do Descript too. I'm like, anybody that knows me knows I constantly get information about new tools, and I'm playing around with new tools. So I do have another one, that a lifetime deal that might replace Descript. I'm testing it right now because it doesn't have quite as many features. But what it comes down to, it doesn't matter which tool you use, is really just going through the video and finding those aha moments, finding those lessons, and looking at it as somebody completely fresh to doing this, to having experienced this, and really just grab those. And I like doing the whole Instagram Reel or TikTok, but you also can, in something like Descript, easily do just a square post out of it. And if you can't get your clients to do video, at least do audio, and then do an audiogram and just overlay a nice image with it, with those audio waves. There's so many ways you can do this. You just, the biggest issue usually is get me your client to go on camera.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, you all don't see me on camera very often. But here I am, and like this would have been a great opportunity for me to be talking right now, and then for you to say, okay, like you drop out, I'm the big picture on the video, and then you're gonna take that video and you're gonna repurpose that, and that's your good start. That's a good starting point.
Now, the nice thing is, because you guys use StreamYard actually also does local recordings and now has multi-layer recordings. So meaning you can be on screen with your client. They can see you, they can talk to you,
Yeah.
they can feel like you are there with them. But StreamYard behind the scenes records also your video in full screen and my video in full screen.
Okay.
Which means I can then use your video as the edit piece because I got you full screen recorded, even
Right.
though we show up as a duo on screen.
Okay. So then you could work with your client. You could be like, okay, now I want you to say this. Say, social media pulse is the best thing ever.
Social media pulse is the best thing ever.
So then we could take that clip and that becomes that aha like snippet that you're talking about of what you're doing. Okay.
You know what I just did?
Yeah.
I had a call with a client, was on Zoom. And he had promised me a testimonial, but you know how life goes, right? Things fall through the cracks. And I'm like, so how about I throw you under the bus? And he looks at me. He's like, oh my God, what did she come up with this time? Right? Evie always comes up with something. I'm like, you're ready to do a testimonial? She's like, I don't even know what to say. I'm like, no worries. I'll guide you through it. Not a problem. So I asked my standard testimonial. It's one of the best testimonials I've ever gotten. It wasn't planned. It wasn't thought through. It's just amazing.
Okay.
So guys,
right.
don't cut yourself short. There is a lot of ways. You can tickle content out of your clients.
You brought this here, I'm coming back to you and I'm going to be like, okay, give us, how can social media managers get an easy testimonial I'm going to come to you and ask you for that content. So that's coming your way. PS.
There is a couple really easy questions how you can lead your clients to give you a good usable testimonial and not just a fluff. Hey, it's great working with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, good. Well, I'm like, if anyone's interested, let us know because I'm going to be knocking on Evie's door for that.
Keep on knocking.
Okay. So let's go back to the rest of your tips. Let me switch this over again. So we talked about, turning the one into many. And so you've got lots of great ideas on here and you just gave us some really great ideas on how to get started on that. And then let's see. All right. Oh, we've danced around this quite a bit. So let's talk about this a little bit. Your tools.
Oh yeah. It's my standard tool stack. You need something to manage your projects. As we already know, I'm a fan of ClickUp because it's just, if you do not have your workflows down, ClickUp is going to give you struggles and going to give you headaches because the tool is not going to fix your workflow. You need to know what you are trying to do. And if you don't know what you are trying to do, ClickUp is not going to be able to help you. No project management tool is, but because of the customizability of ClickUp, you're going to see the issues even more if you don't at least have an idea of your workflow and processes. However, if you do, it is amazing with internal automations, easy external automations, with being able to make ClickUp really your central hub of, we call it a single source of truth. We use it for content management. We use it for database management. Now, I know there was the conversation going on in the community about digital asset management, DAM. We have a backup of our digital assets in ClickUp, correct, to be easily able to grab those. However, we always have a full-on backup on our Google Drive. So don't use ClickUp as your digital asset management. Yes, have it there for your team to easily access those thumbnails and the posts and all of the things, but don't use it as your end-all be-all digital asset management tool. Did I mention I can go on our events on this one?
No, I know. Well, and let me just jump in here and say that we're super thrilled to have a piece from Jonathan Gabby about the beginnings of how to use ClickUp. And so there's a great piece in the workflow that we're probably not going to get to talk about because I want to ask Evie too many questions. And, but one of the things when we were talking about what we were going to talk about, Evie did send over a list of her YouTube channel of a whole bunch of a playlist of ClickUp stuff, and I just put that in the comments of the mission control for this video, and you'll see that down there. So if you guys want to click on that, thanks for that resource, Evie. That I think that's great.
Seeing his post was great. I'm like, oh, I got the whole on how-to videos for all of he was talking about. So
I love it. It
was really fun reading through. I'm like, nice. We got a fellow ClickUp lover here.
I know, and I love that when the space friends come together to help each other. I think that's great, and it's a good first piece for Jonathan, who has recently, I think he just recently finished his MBA, so this is good for him. So yay. Okay, so let's see. What else? What's your next one?
We already mentioned Google Drive in there because I believe every content should start with video. That's how people connect. That's how you get your personality across, especially like me with an accent. YouTube, TubeBuddy as well as StreamYard are close tools of mine. It's easy to record. It's easy to stream. TubeBuddy helps me optimize my videos and research stuff. There is already Descript.
Yeah, there we go.
Right now, go upwards. Who else is going to be in there for social media scheduling, right? Not to mention all of my reports that I get with it. And Charge, I like because it's just nerdy enough to be more than just a newsletter.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that tool at all. I'm going to have to go look that one up.
Encharge works similar to ActiveCampaign without having the price tag of ActiveCampaign.
Oh, that's great.
And then Make.com is my choice of automation because it's cheaper than Zapier and can do more. Now, however, once in a while, because Zapier is so broad in the market, they might have access that Make.com doesn't have yet. So once in a while, I still bring in the free Zapier. But I haven't paid for Zapier in a while, to be honest. And with all of those tools together, I'm able to manage my content creation as well as automating them. So one of those videos that's in there talks about how we automate our digital asset management. So Brittany, I think that was her name. Brittany was talking about the digital asset management and losing assets and all of those things. So I have an automation going that when I'm in a certain stage of my content creation, it automatically generates folders in my Google Drive. So I don't have to...
Wait, back up. Can you say that again?
So to get this whole nerdy, if I'm in a specific stage of my content creation, I tell it, okay, we are ready to record this whole thing. That triggers an automation that generates a main folder for this piece of content, for this YouTube video in my Google Drive, names it based on the episode number, names it based on the task title, which is the video title, adds 3 folders in there, one for raw, one for the graphics, one for the final video, and then grabs that main folder from Google Drive and adds it into my ClickUp.
Oh my God.
The video explains all of that. Now, later on, when my graphics designer is done, because this is one of the biggest issues with digital asset management, is managing it and naming it. How much time do you spend naming it accordingly so that it's SEO optimized for your blog?
Yeah.
When my graphic designer is ready, he goes on my website in a form that is not publicly viewable. Yeah. He just has the link. He gives me the task ID, which he has through an email automation, by the way, straight up from ClickUp. He uploads all the 3 versions of the image, so the thumbnail, the square, and the story image, and clicks submit. Then a automation runs again that renames those files specifically based on the episode name, uploads it to Google Drive, uploads it to ClickUp, and done.
Okay, that's like an hour's worth of work, probably.
Easily.
right? And you have to fully know what you're doing. You can't just not be paying attention that day.
So it means as long as I do my job right and I name the ClickUp task based on the YouTube video, based on my SEO research and all of that, my graphic designer doesn't need to worry on what to name those images. My blog writer doesn't have to worry about doing the SEO on the blog post, because the SEO of the blog post is based on my YouTube research, which is now in the image already.
Wow. Evie, can I come live in your world?
I like it here.
Oh my gosh. You could, yeah, definitely. That's amazing. Okay. So what are you going to tell somebody that's a little overwhelmed by this whole thing? Like, what's a simple, easy, like, I'm doing everything by hand. Maybe I'm curating my content. I'm writing the content as a social media manager. Maybe my clients send me images. I basically sit down, I look at the calendar, I figure out what I want to do. And I start writing posts. I might put it in like Excel or the Google one. What's the Google one? Sheets, or Airtable or ClickUp or someplace like that. And then I want to, of course, put it in Agorapulse to schedule it for me. So, like, what's a simple way? Like, what's the first, like, maybe 2 steps for somebody to get started doing that?
First of all, stick with one way.
Okay.
When we start out, no matter what job it is, me as a coach, you as a social media manager, we are usually reactive, meaning work comes in and we are reacting to it. You need to start being proactive. So when you are ready, because you're all overwhelmed, it's like, did I do that? How did I do that? What? We all end up in this moment at some point, right? If we don't have our system and workflows, this is where you're going to end up. So what I always recommend, yes, go through this. Go look at all the workflows. There's so many workflows on my YouTube channel. Go make yourself crazy, then go have a drink and go in a hot bath. After that, you start from the beginning. My systems and workflows are not perfect either. And I've been doing this for how long? And I'm even teaching people. Yeah. So let's take a deep breath and let's start from the beginning. If you are a solopreneur right now and you are literally at the beginning of your systems, take a pen and paper. Physical pen and paper, GoodNotes, iPad. Heck, if you like typing, not that I do, use a Google document. Anything, I don't care. Whatever is your preferred way to start recording what you do. Even if you're a solopreneur, even if you're not outsourcing yet, you need to get the stuff out of your head so that you can be like, yep, done that, yep, done that, yep, done that. So you are not wasting brain power trying to figure out where in this process you are. Yeah. Where is the stuff? What did I do? What, how? And then start digitizing it. Okay. If it's a Google document in the beginning, fine. Start building up onto just record it however you can. Physical is better rather than video in the beginning, simply because you can't rewatch the video constantly. An easy checklist is easier to do that with. Then we need to start doing this, turning this into digital. It's best if you are starting to use a project management tool early, because you can start assigning tasks to other people rather than yourself. Really cleaning out this workflow and just start building up on it. Focus on one workflow only. And here comes a complete self-pitch, because standard operating procedures and workflows is actually a big topic in February on my YouTube channel, where I walk you through this, how you start from down here.
Okay, good.
To build it up. And the one big and only workflow you should focus on in the beginning is your client journey. Okay. Meaning from a client coming in the door to them coming back and giving you referrals and be all happy. That's the one workflow you need to focus on the beginning. That's your money maker.
All right.
Second Friday of February, there's going to be a workbook and all the things.
Okay, so I want to invite you to come back into the community, and when you've got that ready, feel free to post in the thread and just put it, make a post in the community, and so that way everyone knows that that's available, and we can bring some people over who I know are totally into workflows. And so I love that that's there. You're doing that, and I think starting at the beginning is where a lot of people need to start, right? And yet
it's overwhelming. It's like, yeah, cool, I want to automate all the things. I'm like, hold your horses.
Totally. And I could say, having working on a team with, we've over time, like, okay, what are we going to do? Okay, we're going to do this. Then we record the steps, and then we have a list of the steps. And then now our Agorapulse uses Asana. And so we have those steps in Asana. We assign them to people, and you mark them off when you're done. And literally, when I launch a mission, I have like 50 some steps, right? Which sounds scary, but it's really not when you are like, oh, I did that. Okay, cool. I don't have to think about that anymore. And like, you could just work your way down. So I love your idea of starting with a checklist. Okay. I'm going to dive down deeper and see, getting your team on board. Hey, we were just talking about working with a team. Or I was just talking about that. You have any quick tips on that? Because what I'd love to do is have you wrap this one up, and then I want to like take a quick tour through a few other pieces.
Working with a team, what I see is usually the biggest issue is you're losing that human aspect. You are forgetting there's people involved. We can have all the processes, we can have all the workflows. If you are not talking to your team's values, to your team's needs, to your team's personality, none of it is going to work.
Yeah. I think another point, if I could add something here, and that is that different people on your team also have different working styles and learning styles. And I think that is key to recognize. And that's hard to do when there are multiple people on a team, right? And everybody is like, well, I can't work like that. I need to work like this. And, coming up with some kind of happy medium that people are mostly happy with.
And that's one of the reasons why I love ClickUp so much, because it has those customizabilities where I can speak to somebody that's more visual. Cool, then let's use the Kanban layout. Let's build you a dashboard. What do you need? What do you need to be the most productive and not be stressed about getting anything done? Then give me a list. Cool.
Yeah.
What's the use case scenario? Which tasks do I want to have shown? For me in specific, I need a specific to-do list just for proof tasks, meaning my team has been working on everything. They marked it to proof, which now means it assigns me, and I have a list of all of those pieces of content where I need to go through and just fly over. Cool. Looks great. Approved. Done.
Yeah.
I can set up a list for that literally, no matter which project, no matter which client, no matter whatever, everything that's proof right there. And I can literally just go through the list.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I love that. I love that, that flexibility that you build in by using ClickUp. That's cool. Do you mind if we jump over to a few of the other pieces that we've got? Okay, because I think we got a deep dive into content from you. We talked about, let's see. Okay, we talked about starting with clients and work, like workflows. Oh, wait, I'm not showing the thing. Hang on, people. All right, here we go, space friends. I'm back here with client workflows. So we do have an onboarding client workflow from Phyllis. We've also got an offboarding one, which is cool. Hey,
both of them are really important.
Those sound like they might be good starting spots for when you're thinking about the client as our first workflow that we should really focus on.
And those are exactly pieces of that general client workflow, because client onboarding is really, really important, because that's where you set expectations. That's where you make sure your client doesn't call you at midnight on a Friday.
Yep.
So that's also where you set your expectations of the client knowing what they gonna get, so that you don't have scope creep, or you can pull back and be like, not in the scope, we need to add to the scope if that's what you want. So client onboarding is really, really important to just streamline everything and make sure your client knows exactly what they're getting.
Well, and I love this list that Phyllis gave us of like needing to get all the access details, right? And like, here's an actual list that you can act, because sometimes when you get a new client, you're like, oh, that you're celebrating getting the new client. And then, but you're not necessarily thinking about every little detail you need. And clients don't realize, like, heck, I actually charge my clients more in the first month than I do in consecutive months because of all this time that it takes, right? And they don't understand that. But then when you give them this list of like, okay, this is all the stuff I need, and then I need to spend time, because, you know, getting into these things is not an easy thing to do necessarily.
Turn that list right there into a questionnaire, into a form.
Yeah, that's great. And then, hey, we could send that into ClickUp, couldn't we?
You can use a ClickUp form for that and build your database with all your clients' logins. Yep.
I love that. Okay. And okay. Hey, this, if you guys missed this thing with League Off, if you don't know League Off and you're an agency owner, you need to get to know League Off really fast, because first of all, I love him.
Amazing.
He's amazing. He's got this amazing Southern accent, which I totally love just listening to him. But this is the actual campaign of how he's dealing with warm leads. And so he gave us this piece, and then he also came on and did a training with me and a tour. Oops, I just missed. Hang on, sorry, I missed that. And he did a tour of this new piece of software that he has called Agency Sonar, and he's giving away free 15 days for you to use the software. And essentially, the software is super cool because if someone goes to your website, right now, most of us have a form that they have to fill out and say that they're interested, or you have a lead magnet. He says lead magnets are dead, because what he's able to do is if someone visits your website and you're using Agency Sonar, you get a notification that that person visited, and he can pinpoint exactly who you are and match up the socials. And he's got a whole system of how you should give them value and then how to follow up with them. So this was a super cool training that I feel pretty lucky that we were able to bring to the community. Let's see. We talked about offboarding. We talked about all this content. We've got a few more things. We've got, this piece from Rebecca Cantrell about planning your workflow mapping and how to map things out, this was super interesting. I don't know, Evie, you and I are both kind of process, workflow, kind of nerdy, geeky, kind of, we like this kind of stuff. I love to see what other people do and then like bring that into what I'm doing. Like something you might say might go, oh, I honestly, I don't use ClickUp. I use Airtable. I love Airtable. But some of the things you said, I was like, oh, I could do that in Airtable.
And there is ways to cross map. So yeah, is ClickUp my tool of choice? Yeah,
exactly.
Am I gonna drag you by the collar and be like, you have to use ClickUp now? No, a lot of those features you can cross map. I have clients that actually use Airtable in combination with ClickUp because they love the Airtable database capability where it's like, I just need a collect all point of view. And yes, I do the same thing where it's like, especially with YouTube content generation, where what I did is I found my 3 YouTubers that I love to pieces, and I grabbed their workflow on how they are pre-mapping and storyboarding their YouTube videos, and I pick and choose the pieces that I want, and I build my own template on how do I map out my YouTube videos.
Yep, exactly. Okay, I want to jump over to this. Another one of my favorite people, Chris Penn. Oh my God, if you need to do anything about analytics, he is the smartest guy I know, and he's got it for us here. So he's got a whole analytics workflow that he takes us through, and he's a great resource for us. So you can definitely check that piece out. And then I'm thinking that, let's see, what else do we have on the list that I wanted to make sure that we hit? We've got brand building. from Shelley, which I love stuff from Shelley. So this is really interesting about building your brand. So I think that's key for you guys to look at. So, I mean, what's kind of cool is, although we bring this content out, across the month, it's cool when it gets to the end of the month and you see it all packaged up with a bow on it of like, this is what we did for workflows. And these are things that we think are important. And then down here, one of the cool things about the community is that, sometimes it's super scary and lonely to work by yourself, which many of us do virtually. So we do these Let's Chats all month long. And we always, have questions we want the community to come in and answer. And, this was a whole thing about what your favorite planner and calendar is. And we actually have a piece that I think just came out today, which I guess I didn't get on the workflow yet. Oh yeah, look, calendar creators and planners. We talked to Emma, Mike, and Janet, and they both gave us, their planners and told us all about them. And so that's a great piece for those of you that haven't gotten your planner yet or are interested in new things. So, I mean, I think that kind of wraps up what's going on with the missions. Let's see if there's anything else on the list that was key. I think not. I didn't see any questions from anybody. You want to give us like the wrap up of what you think about how important these workflows are and what that could do for a social media manager?
I'm
Okay, come on.
I don't know if she knows what door she just opened. There you make or break it.
Yeah.
Workflows and processes are your make and break it, and to the point of repeatable processes. So working with agencies, I have seen it a lot where you look behind the scenes of a big major agency and you think they have it all together and they are doing all the things, they are having all these fancy clients. And then you pull back the curtain and it's stress, it's hustle 24/7. The team is tired because they have started their business reactive and they grew, they exploded, they scaled, and now they are losing their profit on the team having to reinvent the wheel every single day with every single client, rather than going proactive, really focusing on building out these workflows and processes and the resources for the team to implement and run them. They're losing time and profit. So again, start as early as possible. Start simple. You don't have to go as crazy. Don't automate right away. It's really just starting to get those processes and workflows down so you can save your brain power. And when you start outsourcing, you can save time and therefore money, as well as continuously deliver your awesomeness to clients and nothing falls through the cracks. I promise you, repeatable processes is what makes or breaks a company. And if they do not have them in place, yet they are still functioning properly, I guarantee you they're losing a lot of profit.
Such valuable words. I love it. And
again, mine are not perfect either. Mine are not perfect either.
I know. I have to say, they constantly evolve, right?
Yeah.
I mean, literally, you could start with something as simple as, like, what do you do with the contract that you get? And then the next step. And you don't have to turn this into like a whole big day where you like spend hours and hours on this. This could be something that you're just documenting what you're doing in a normal process. Yeah. Like your next first client you get, document the process that you have to bring that client in. The next thing you know, you have that, right? And so it's faster the next time, and you're just reassuring yourself that you've got that workflow and okay, good. And it's totally changeable. Even your digital stuff is totally changeable, right? I mean,
my poor VA, the podcast workflow has changed 10,000 times over the last 2 months, but she's all for it.
Yeah, I love it. Well, I think, and okay, here's the other thing. Let me give you a shout out. And if this is too overwhelming for you, if this is not your thing and you'd much rather go shoot video and you need someone to help you set up processes, we've got people like Evie right here in the community, and she's available for your services. And we're looking forward to the book coming out. That's a big deal. You'll get to wear your author crown.
I might be working on actually a group program to just follow the yellow brick road.
Okay, I love it. Well, promise that you'll come back when your book's out, and we can do a deep dive on the book and celebrate your success. And the fact that you've got, I can pretty much say that your awareness, what you say about ClickUp, and your bringing up these workflows and this opening people's eyes to that has been really important to a lot of people. So I think you're an icon in the workflow community and the ClickUp community. I always call you the ClickUp queen. So thrilled you were here with me today. And Space Friends, I hope you enjoyed Mission Workflow. And we've got exciting things planned for Mission, for February's Mission, which will launch the first week of February. And there's a little bit of love in there and a little bit of relationship building. So it should be lots of fun. So make sure you come and join us. And so with that, I'm going to sign off and say goodbye for now, and we'll talk soon.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.